The way that land and green spaces are developed has a significant impact on people's physical and mental health. We are all connected to nature and the environment. It's a delicate balance that we need to maintain. How do we make sure decision makers act in the interest of people and their connections to nature in a way that ensures all of our futures? It's only through proper collaboration and participation in decision-making processes that we can achieve a sustainable future. The Aarhus Convention is an international treaty to which Scotland is signed up. At its heart is fairness, justice, and environmental democracy. It states that we, the people, must be active participants in the management of our land, to be treated with equivalence and to be of significance in the kind of democracy that restores our environment and which in turn gives us health and strength. But planning democracy hear from many communities in Scotland that face constant challenges with unfair decisions that infringe our environmental rights. The Carmunnock community was shocked when an appeal overturned a previous decision to refuse permission to build 4 luxury homes on a valued green space in the village. The community were appalled by the way the appeal decision was made, which was seriously flawed.
4 key reports that are supposed to be submitted by council policy were not available to the committee, and the site was identified in the development plan as being a site protected against development.
Developers had the right to appeal at no cost, but the residents had no such rights to justice.
The only way to hold them accountable is by challenging the decision in the Court of Session, which is hugely expensive. We were quoted figures of £50,000 to £75,000.
Yeah. Is this environmental democracy?
It breaks my heart that things like this are being allowed to happen.
The system isn't working and that it needs to change.
The second community are living in Stepps, an area under threat of large-scale, unplanned development. The local development plan sets out the vision for the area and states what kind of development is planned to go where. It's drawn up with the involvement of the residents and is a democratically agreed document. Developers can and do put in applications that diverge from these plans.
The developers have a lot to gain, will make a lot of profit.
These sites do not offer the kind of housing that we need, especially for younger people.
I'm going into a house to stay in. Like the current price rises, like there's no such thing as like affordable housing anymore.
This speculative development is happening at an alarming rate and is having a serious and highly detrimental effect on the environment.
We used to have deer, badgers, foxes. The burn was polluted to a major extent.
People fear and mourn the destruction of their natural environment.
Feels they cut down, the last remaining green belt that is accessible to people in this area. People who struggle with mental health use the space a lot, like you've got all age groups coming up here. It's really helped me with mental health and stuff, like being out here connecting with nature. It's like takes you away from like all the stress.
It's a vital space in this community, an ex-mining community. It's been through the ringer already. That is our community lung. It's where our oxygen comes from.
These developments are located away from public transport links, making people reliant on cars.
You can see bus shelters were built, but there have never been any buses through here. And because this is not within walking distance of any facilities, it does not help the environment. Because of as you can see, the amount of traffic.
The unplanned development has increased pressure on existing communities.
You can't get a doctor's appointment, anything, amenities-wise, we just don't have the infrastructure. The school's full. Now my daughters went to primary, and the last 2 years they were in huts, and I was told, oh, this will be sorted. Now my daughters are now, 38 and 36. And they're now building a new school, which in 9 years I'm told is going to be full.
Their lack of a voice, the need for constant vigilance to fight for what should be protected, affects their mental health.
We have a voice, but it's never listened to. That's the problem.
There's not one day in the past 5 years that I haven't, in some shape or form, been dealing with planning issues. It's actually been quite detrimental to my health.
There is very little that communities can do to prevent harmful development. The community can go to court in a process called judicial review to challenge the way the decision was made, as with the Carmunnock case. But they can't challenge the rights and wrongs of the conclusion that was reached. And of course, going to court is extremely expensive. This is why people need stronger rights in order to be heard and be able to protect their communities. Scotland has much more to do to fulfil its commitment to the Aarhus Convention, to properly ensure every person's right to a healthy environment. To learn about our fight for people's rights, visit www.planningdemocracy.org.uk.